Welcome to our CARE podcast, because Corona ain't ruining everything. My name is Tamara Whitney, and I'm the president-elect of District 3 and co-organizer of the Region 1 Fall Training CARE Conference. As a way to bring you additional content and to get to know some of our keynote speakers and state leadership, we've set up a limited series podcast for you to enjoy at your leisure. So if you are binge listening to these all at once, or if you're taking them in one day by day, we hope this message finds you well. Today, we are joined by the California Park and Recreation Society President, Tara G. Tara is the Superintendent of the Park Planning and Development Division for the City of Roseville Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department. Tara, thank you so much for joining us today. Will you tell us a little bit more about yourself and with the City of Roseville and the role you have with CPRS?
Well, gosh, I've been with the City of Roseville for over 20 years. My park planning and development role is about, really in a nutshell, planning, designing, and building the parks. And so, long-range planning, as well as working with developers to even figure out where the parks go, all the way to construction. And of course, other duties as assigned. Don't we all have some of those, right?
Absolutely.
My role at CPRS, gosh, I've been with CPRS for quite a while, almost at the beginning of my start with the City of Roseville. It was encouraged to me by my then director, Mike Chalateau, to get involved, and he was very big on CPRS, and so that was my introduction to that. So I've been involved with many different boards, development and operations boards, and special task forces, and so on and so on. Loved teaching at conference, and until finally it was time for me to step up and be on the state board. And so I started out as secretary treasurer, and then later ran for vice president, which puts me here today. I went to school as a landscape architect. So I am a state licensed landscape architect. So the story, I accidentally got into Parks and Recreation. Some of my first jobs were in the private industry in the Bay Area. And I worked for a gentleman who we did two things. We were based in Palo Alto. And so he did a lot of parks and public spaces. Like we did a lot at Stanford University and all of that. But we also did a lot of high-end custom residential. And there was one thing that he said to me that really stuck. And that was, I can spend the same amount of money that serves 4 people at their home versus in a park or a public space that serves hundreds of thousands of people over the lifetime of that space. And that really stuck with me. So when I moved from the area up to this area, that was the sector, if you will, that I sought. So I ended up at Sac County earlier, and then moved over to the City of Roseville.
What keeps you interested in your role every day?
Every day is a different day. Sometimes every moment is a different moment. Mm-hmm. For me, obviously, what my role currently is with the CPRS is not something that you would traditionally see a landscape architect doing. But early on, it was not. From my personality standpoint, I'm an A-type person, so I've got to do all these different things, and I don't want to be put into a box. And I think I spent my entire career reaching out for other things and to expand my challenges, expand my learning, expand my knowledge. And so, my job and the city that I work for really encourages that. So yeah, every day is a different day, and I love variety.
And learning opportunities, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Do you, what's the most challenging part about your role in the public sector?
Well, it's a little bit highlighted by COVID in the sense that, I consider my job, because I do have a public facing job. Mm-hmm. I design and plan a park. I'm out in the neighborhoods. In fact, there's sometimes, like I'm at Home Depot and somebody comes up to me and says, Tara, how's my park doing? Well, it's doing great. And all at the same time, I'm not sure which park she's talking about, because we've got several of them. But the conversation, I finally figure out what park she's talking about and can give her an update. So, it's really about that people first, you know, perspective, if you will, in what I do. And the challenge is, though, sometimes people get into their little perspectives or their tunnel. And so I consider myself an educator, educating people about there's more than just 5 homes in front of this park or near this park, that we serve a community now of close to 140,000 people. And so educating them about the needs of the community, finding balance, compromise, really being the problem solver, I think is really the biggest challenge, because not everybody wants to compromise sometimes. And so, trying to seek that fine line is a challenge sometimes.
You and I had a conversation kind of prior to recording where we were talking about the silver linings of COVID, and just through your conversation and talking about hearing how the community has responded to parks, or hearing how that they identify with those spaces. Has there been, or do you want to share some of those silver linings that you've seen through COVID and shelter-in-place orders, especially with your work, working so closely with parks themselves?
Gosh, one of the biggest silver linings is how many people throughout the state, throughout the country, are flocking to our parks, trails, and open spaces. We all knew in the beginning, before any of this happened, we all knew that, people used our parks and our trails and our open spaces, but then it just sort of tenfolded and multiplied. And not only that, but even in a recent NRPA survey, it showed that people are considering us an essential service. And, we've been saying that to each other, and it's just so cool. That's a silver lining, that people outside of our industry are sharing how much they appreciate what we do and what we provide. And I'm not, I've mentioned parks and open space and trails, but I'm also including virtual programming. People are clamoring over all the offerings, program offerings that we're providing throughout the state. And it's just validation that we are so important. Another silver lining, I think, is that we've shown that we're resilient, that we're willing to do anything to keep our community safe. So, we've gone outside of the traditional Parks and Recreation role. We're serving food to people, we're distributing food, we're reaching out and making sure our seniors and our elderly are not isolated, that we're making those connections and, things like that. Distance learning, when we had distance learning, all of a sudden we were like the facilitators of that. And then, then there came the hybrid, and now comes whatever part of learning happens with the schools. And so, those are just a few of those silver linings. The innovation, the, creativity that everybody has shown, is just like, we would not have gotten this far this fast without COVID.
I want to shift gears just a little bit and talk a little bit about stretches and opportunities. We've got a lot of sessions with the CARE conference that are focusing on stretches, opportunity, and working, and just working hard to do your job as best as you can. So prior to COVID, what was your biggest stretch opportunity or job you were given, and how did it result, whether for that project or future plans professionally?
Oh gosh, there's probably 2 that come to my mind. The first one is our street landscaping section or responsibilities. If I look back at my time at the County of Sacramento, I ended up doing about a year working in the field, actually inspecting street landscapes after the maintenance contractors finished. And so I was doing a lot of QA, QC, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, I hated it. I really did not like it. I was a landscape architect and felt like I could make a different contribution in a different way. But a job's a job at that point, because they had eliminated my job. and so I moved into public works. So I call it my tour of duty. And one of the biggest compliments that was given to me at the time was by one of the contractors. He said, well, I like Tara because she really cares about her job. I'm not really, but that's okay because I decided that I was going to do the best I could do there. So fast forward, now I'm at the city of Roseville, and our streetscape districts kept growing and growing. And so we needed somebody to really start to take more of a focus on that. So I still had my park development hat on, and I was given a temporary hat for 3 years to oversee the street landscapes. So it grew, I think there were 9 districts, it grew to 15 in the 3-year period. And so I was just wearing both hats. But my experience being part of that early on helped me to understand and be successful in the oversight of it. And that's why it lasted as long as it did. It was something that I could never have imagined that I would do again. And here I was doing it at a management level. Well, you fast forward to today and some of the hat I wear now, and my involvement still remains with that because I am creating, forming, making decisions about how we, what we include, how much money we assess people on even a higher level when we create new areas within the city. So every opportunity is, something that can grow and grow and grow. And it goes back to that conversation that we had earlier about, looking at silver linings. Yes. And building upon the experiences you have.
That those other duties as assigned could actually help you get your next position or help you grow in a way to help you supervise someone who maybe is in that role.
Absolutely.
Of it. And that is, you have just hit the nail completely on the head, that sometimes those other duties as assigned, those projects that you didn't want, are the ones you need the most to grow.
Oh, absolutely. And, I think that former boss asked me all the time, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. And my answer was, I don't know what that title is. I want to always be in a position where I'm learning and growing and being challenged. So what title is that?
Awesome. That is a great way to be able to respond to that, and being able to have that perspective to continue to learn and grow throughout your career. And especially with 23 years with the city of Roseville, I'm sure you've had many opportunities for that and have those changes just woven through that city.
Oh yeah, and I still learn something new every day. I might thirst, so it's always fun.
Absolutely. Tara, it's been so much fun to be able to chat with you and learn a little bit more about your position and your role. And I hope our folks who are part of the operations and park side of the house get a chance to listen to you, because I know I've learned something today about your background, especially coming as a landscape architect. I do have a couple more questions for you, but they're rapid fire. Are you ready?
Oh, I guess so.
Okay. What is the most random item in your office?
I would say, I'm looking around. Oh, I have a couple of drums in my office.
Just in case, you never know.
Yeah.
What TV sitcom family would you like to be a member of?
Oh gosh. I would say, that sounds funny, but I don't know. Maybe the Brady Bunch.
Tara, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the membership?
No, I just want to thank everybody for really being for really serving our communities in the best way that we can and the best way we know how. It does not surprise me whatsoever on the things that we've been able to accomplish in the last 8 months. I would say, if you're feeling tired, give yourself that opportunity to feel tired and take a deep breath and rejuvenate and take care of yourself. Because we need you and you're doing an awesome job. So I thank all of you for everything you do for our communities within the state of California.
Thank you so much for that, Tara. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to your leadership through the COVID-19 crisis as a society, as someone who looks up to you as a professional, and also as our state president. It has been a pleasure to serve and work with you. You have always inspired me, and you continue to do so. So thank you so much for being such a great sunflower to myself.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And to you attending the CARE conference, we hope you are having a great day because remember, Corona ain't ruining everything. Have a great day, everybody.